I'm live. If you are watching this recording, first of all, know that I'm aware how weird the lighting is. It's terrible. But you're going to go to mammothgardens.com and you are going to get the sheet music and all that good stuff there. Look for the person blowing a harmonica to find your spot. And I am going to go post this on post a link for today's class on our website. And then we're going to get a flood of people rushing in to tell me how excited they are to rock out today. This is our first Friday that we've ever done. And it's been a nice week of getting up to speed on harmonica. Hopefully you've had a chance to review all the previous videos and are ready to make today a thing of magic. We play diatonic harmonica and chromatic harmonica, mostly diatonic harmonica, but a little chromatic harmonica just to keep things exciting and interesting. And let's see here. Okay, so now the link is posted. We start at 5 after, so it's exactly straight up 11 o'clock right now. We will start at 11:05. So if you are watching the replay of this, just fast forward 5 minutes and we'll be ready to go. Let's see. Let me make sure this is working correctly. Yep, I don't know. YouTube's not putting up the picture that I tell it to put up, so it's going crazy. I wonder if it did mess that up yesterday. I'll have to check yesterday's to see if they messed them all up yesterday too. Let's see, what else are we talking about today? Gotta get some. I never went over to the studio last night, so I still don't have my sheet music thingamabopper here, and it is what it is, right? Evelyn, back in for another day of it. Good to see you. Hi, Luis. I'm seeing you and hearing you. That's all that matters, right? Seeing me is okay. Hearing me is iffy. Right? Well, probably seeing me is iffy too, but here we are. All right, let's see if we can get a little less drapery in it. A little more. That's what it is, right? We don't need this. That looks ugly. Move this out of the way. Move this over here. Get our harmonicas. Get our water. Let's see. Hey, Marcia, welcome in. Melissa, holding down the fort up in Boulder. All right, date past year. I am. That's from the past month. Let's see if I can. 2017. Let's try that. Okay, so let's do 2017. Enter, search, let's see what comes up. Doesn't work that 2019. Not coming down. All right, well, what are you gonna do? Let's see. Who else is logging in here? Who else is sneaking in here? Lovely and I know I haven't been outside yet. I'm just assuming every day it's a horror out there, and I've stopped going outside. Susan, you asked if anyone would like to read notes and not just tablature. I would really like to. Okay, we'll learn how to do that. Yeah, and I'll start putting together some little worksheets on that. How about that? We'll have some non-tablature worksheets. I'll start. Give me a little bit of time to put that together, Susan. Shouldn't take too much, but yeah, we'll start doing. We'll do a little bit of standard notation discussion, and then we can get you started doing that. Hey, Fran, welcome in. Alas. Right, alas. So Monday, right? By Monday, everybody will be chromatic up and we'll be ready to because we've got Beautiful Dreamer, you've got Danny Boy, and you've got something else. What else did I put on the website? Oh, Scarborough Fair. So you got four solid songs for a chromatic up there that you can start on as soon as it shows up. You knock everybody down, tear it out of the box, and you play four songs. Hey, Pauline. Playing harmonica is very similar to playing ukulele. It is absolutely a blast for the person doing the activity. For those people who are sitting around you, it can be a bit of a test of how much they love you, right? It's it's a fun little instrument. Don't force it on people. I think I probably ought to put that on the website somewhere. Like, this is for you. This is not for an audience. Um, yeah, they're loving it, Sandy or Pauline. They're loving it. I saw Sandy come log in. Pauline, they're loving every minute of your harmonica playing. I'm positive. They're sending me emails about how your families are sending me emails thanking me for making you such a great harmonica player. Let's see. Hey, Sandy, welcome in. Hey, friend, can you use the diatonic sheet music when playing the Saints on chromatic harmonica, or would I? No, no, you can't. The diatonic music does not switch over to chromatic, so you have to do one or the other. So you can't use the diatonic sheet music with chromatic. Okay, so you can, the other instruments on that same sheet of page are same sheet of page on that same sheet music is fine, but you can't use a diatonic on the chromatic music, and you can't use a chromatic on the diatonic music. Okay, it you could if you want to play a completely different song, but no, you can't switch them between the two. Um, so if you want to play, well, the other thing you can do, this is something to try. Uh, you can just see what happens, right? So once you know the song and you have a chromatic, and you can start fishing around and see if you can find all your notes. Most of the time, you'll be successful if you're going from diatonic to chromatic. You will not be successful if you're going from chromatic to diatonic, because you're going to have to bend notes, and um, that's an advanced skill that we don't even talk about it, because it's not easy to do correctly. And so, yeah, I hope that answers your question, Jody. But might be fun to try fishing around and find it. I don't like to put both out on both instruments. If it's possible to play it on a diatonic, I want to put it out as a diatonic song. And then chromatic people, if it's on a diatonic, all you know is you're not going to push the button on your chromatic. The holes will be different. That's the key. And so you can't, theoretically, you can play all diatonic music on chromatic, I guess is what I should say, but not the other way around. Let's see, Gary, would it be cheating to nick the to nick the frame? Would it be cheating to nick the frame by the fourth hole? Oh, so you could put a little notch there. Gary, I don't think it'd be cheating. I just think you're jumping the gun. Okay. This time next week, you're not going to need that, Nick. This time next week, you're going to be a professional harmonica player. So, yeah, I do think I get off plenty, right? And what you really do, use your ears, right? Blowing, and it's like, that's not the right note. So slide it up or slide it back down. But I wouldn't do that. I don't, because I think, honestly, a couple weeks, and all of a sudden you're not going to need any of that. This instrument will come to you. It really desperately wants you to play it. So there you go. Hey, Deb, welcome in. Hi, Uke. Christine in. Back for more. Chromatic harmonicas are ordered. Amazon says chromatic is on the way. So, John, on the website, I'm recommending either using this Marine Band, 1896, 1892, 1896, that one, or a Special 20 in the key, and make sure they're both in the key of C. And so if you go onto the main page where I post the link, there's another link that says harmonica page, and you click on that, and that'll get you over to well, even on that page there, I have on that page where you get the link. I have links to Amazon of the harmonicas that we're using here in class, and so I don't. Almost any harmonica will work just fine. The cheaper ones are harder to play, obviously, and the cheaper ones, especially up here in holes 8, 9, and 10. Those of you guys with good harmonicas know 8, 9, and 10 are hard enough. On a less expensive harmonica, they're even harder usually, and so you can a cheap harmonica is 15 to 20 bucks, and a good harmonica is 35, 40 bucks. So it's completely worth the extra 20 bucks to get something that's a decent brand. That's what I suggest. Of course, I have 20 bucks sitting around in my pocket, right? So it's easy for me to talk about that. All right, today's concert day. I'm supposed to not talk and you're supposed to play. That's what we're supposed to do on Fridays, okay? So on Fridays, I talk less, you play more. That's how we're going to work these. Let's go to the C major scale in the front and let's see what happens. Amazon had their special 20 with a harmonica necklace for all the gals on my Marcia, you're gonna lose friends if you send them harmonicas. So just think about that. Decide how good of a friend they are, right? All right, let's play the C major scale, please. You remember blow 4, draw 4, blow 5, draw 5, blow 6, draw 6, draw 7, blow 7, and then we turn around and go right back down. Okay, from the top, 1. Oh, I forgot to do my list. Did you brush your teeth? Did you rinse out your mouth with water? So that, because again, guys, I mean, it's kind of silly that I talk about this, but if you don't do this stuff, you get to clean your harmonica, and you don't want to clean your harmonica because it's an hour's worth of your day gone, right? and we're barely making it as it is, right? So brush your teeth, wash your hands, brush your teeth, drink a lot of water as we're playing. Sit up tall and pretty. Remember, this is your bellows. You want to be breathing from your belly, not your neck. Every note, 2, 2, 2. At least in the beginning, every note, 2, 2, 2. Use your tongue, ta ta ta, to create separation between each note. Eventually, you'll make decisions about whether you want to put a 2 in everything. But in the beginning, I want you to pucker up. And you're trying to get one reed, one hole to make a noise, not multiple holes. We'll eventually do that too, but right now, that's what you want. And then to hold your harmonica like a sandwich on this side, turn around, get your sound chamber here. Okay, that's it. That's all the instruction you get today. Every Monday we'll go through it in a little bit more detail, but that's how we're going to do it. Okay. Go to the C major scale on your notes in diatonic, and we'll start with blow 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. I didn't get it that clean. Hopefully you got it a little bit cleaner. Your goal is obviously, one, we're warming up the harmonica. That's the main thing we do the scales for. But the second thing you're doing is just getting yourself comfortable, getting your breathing going correctly, making sure your lips are got enough water and all that stuff. Let's do it again. See if I can get it cleaner. See if you can get it cleaner. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. Whew. I didn't warm up yet today, and so my breathing is like, oh, whoa, now we're going to do this, huh? Remember, when you get too much air inside of you, you can blow that out through your nose a little bit, right? Let it leak out through your nose. And also, if you're blowing too much, you're going to have to you know, do a quick uptake of air. I think singers are really trained in this and probably pretty good at it. Those of you who've had a little bit of singing in your life, you're probably trained at it. But for most of us who don't do singing, this is a whole new way of thinking: is how much air is in here and what are we doing? So be mindful to not, don't distress yourself out, right? Stress is that's not good. All right, You Are My Sunshine. Let's go play that. Dun, 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 dun. All right. I recommend this as a warm up as well. This is one of those songs I think every single time I'm sitting in my car and there's a stoplight and I'm like, oh, you haven't eaten lunch yet, so your teeth should still be clean. Let's grit out this. I got a little $5 harmonica in the car, might be worth 10, and I play "You Are My Sunshine." That's what I do. So this song. The other thing, which we'll talk about more as we move on into the future. But be aware you don't have to have the sheet music in front of you if you know the tune. You can fish around and find the notes. You just have to know whether it's a diatonic or a chromatic. You're probably not just sitting at a well, you might be. I guess you can sometimes just be humming a chromatic song, but for sure, all of these old-fashioned songs that we play on diatonic, you're probably going to know the words, and you can start fishing around and just try to find the notes. That in and of itself is a valuable activity because it's training your ears. Okay, "You Are My Sunshine." Let's start with a blow 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rest. Isn't that lovely? That's a lovely tune. Let's see. Jane, is it worth $10 more to have 12 holes instead of 10 on a chromatic? 10 holes is plenty. 10 holes is absolutely all you need. The standard sort of everyday chromatic harmonicas come. The one that I recommend, this guy has 12, and this is sort of the industry standard. You judge all other harmonicas based on whether it's better or worse than this one. So the Chromatica 270 is sort of, and if there was an industry, there's not really an industry, but that's the one. That's sort of the workhorse. You find that in all the music stores, everywhere you go. Harmonica 270, and it has 12. But as I'm saying, I will tell you the chances of us ever blowing a 12 on that thing are 0. Okay, so you'll be fine with a 10. I'll just make sure to arrange things where they don't go up that high. I like things to be arranged between 3 and 8. That's where I like, because those are the easier reeds to play. So I don't necessarily think it's worth the extra 10, extra 12. $10 more to have 12, but it is the industry standard. So yeah, maybe you think about it, right? Cat, late but here, worst of the storm. All right, Cat. All of a sudden, you disappeared on me yesterday, and I thought, well, I hope she didn't get hit by a Volvo. So glad you're here. I've been watching the news. It's pretty brutal down there. So hopefully you got through it okay. Um, um, we don't have weather like that in Colorado, so I can't even imagine. Years ago, I lived in Boulder, and we would have 100-mile-an-hour winds come through there on a regular basis and blow out the glass door in the back of the condo, and it would take the water in the basement toilet and it would suck it out, and it would overflow in the upstairs toilet. And I never can figure that out, the way the pressure works. But 100-mile-an-hour winds were scary enough, and so I can't imagine what 150 would have felt like. So, Kat, we're delighted you're okay. So scary, this world we're living in. Let's not talk about that. Let's talk about playing When the Saints Go Marching In. Right? All right. Let's get this. This is another one of our warm-up songs. Probably we're going to be looking for some songs that are easy and fun to play, and we're going to keep those at the top of the list each day, Monday through Thursday. Well, really every day, right? Monday through Friday, so that those of you who are newer and getting your chops up to speed will have some easier ones, and then we'll also have some that are a little bit harder. And generally speaking, on harmonica, harder means it's in these upper notes, right? And so several of you have written and said, "Hey, I'm having trouble getting a good tone out of 10." Yeah, me too. Okay, so these reeds are not necessarily bad. They're just a whole lot more, take a whole lot more air and a whole lot more precision to make your 10s and your 9s sound good. And so just know, just because you're not sounding good on 9 and 10 doesn't mean you're a bad player or that you have a bad harmonica. It just means we got to spend a little bit more time learning to finesse the reeds. And I don't think there's any other solution other than play a little bit and have some songs with some 8s and 9s and maybe an occasional 10 in there just to see what happens, okay, to give you some experience. All right, When the Saints Go Marching In, blow 4. I'm going to count in 4. We have a rest, and then we go. Make sure you honor those long notes. The whole notes are those big circles with the swoosh over them, connecting them to a quarter note. Those are worth 5 beats. So make sure you're honoring that long, long note. Okay? 1, 2, 3, 4, rest. Okay. By the way, I forgot to mention, I got an email or a text last night from Lanny, who's over here in the chat box, but it's not really Lanny, it's Deb that's over here in the chat box. Deb and Lanny played "You Are My Sunshine" as a duet last night, ukulele and harmonica. And according to Lanny, it went very well. So we already have somebody in a band, you guys. Come on, that's how awesome harmonica is. You just have to buy one and suddenly you're in a band. All right. Now, where are we at? 11:23. We're knocking them out. So that's the easier two songs for the week, right? You Are My Sunshine and When the Saints Go Marching In. Let's go grab Yankee Doodle. That's a little bit tougher one. And again, when you get to the eighth, ninth, and 10th read up here, they are going to fight back on you a little bit. And it's not something like other instruments. There's always something on every instrument that's kind of a bummer. Guitar, F chord. Ugh, I hate that thing. Ukulele, B flat. Ugh, hate that thing. On this one, it's reeds in 9 and 10. And reeds in 9 and 10 are going to come up. Reeds in 8 are going to come up a lot. Okay. And so it's just something that we work on in the beginning. We fight it a little bit. And that's just what it is. I thought somebody might ask eventually. Vic says, how do you do a fancy ending on these things? So on every song that you get in this book, I think, let me double check that I'm not lying to you. So far, every single song ends on a C chord, right? Every single song ends on a C chord. Beautiful Dreamer next week on Chromatic won't, but it's in a different key. And Danny Boy doesn't, and Scarborough. So this Chromatic one's aside, okay? Every single diatonic song that we've had so far ends on a C chord, okay? Here's how you make a fancy ending, okay? Whatever your last note is, then just open up your mouth, cover more than one hole, and blow in more than one hole. So those when the saints go. How was it last night? What was the last note? When the saints go marching. Right? Just grab a whole bunch of holes and blow through them. Then you get this la, right? So that's, you start with the 4 and open up to whatever notes you can get, and then you'll get a C chord. Okay, so we'll try that on Yankee Doodle. We didn't even talk about this week. I should have talked about it because now, so every single song ends in a C chord, right? And all you have to do is blow more than one hole and you'll get a C chord. That's the fancy ending. So when we get to the end of Yankee Doodle, your last note is a 7, right? And open up and just blow in all of them. If you want to make it sound real cool, slide down. That sounds more like, you know how in church every song goes, amen. So you go down and grab a low chord and then you sound more holy, I guess. Same thing with a harmonica. As long as you're on a C chord, you can blow any holes at all and it's going to come out a C chord. So that's the little fancy ending that sometimes I put it on, sometimes I don't. All right, Yankee Doodle. Here we go. From below 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, doesn't sound that good on this song, but that's the idea. You're going to just open up your mouth, push this in a little further and blow multiple holes, and you're going to C chord. Now, I did not get a good start on this, and one of the things that happens in a harmonica, sometimes you're going to be blowing in what you think is 7, and it turns out it's 6 or 5 or 12 or whatever. And you make those adjustments. You're busy hoping, as a harmonica player, that you find sooner or later you're going to find the right one, and you're going to get the air going through the right chamber. And you don't lose sleep over it, right? You get it close. Yeah, The more important that you're blowing through the wrong holes and you're still going forward than throwing up in exasperation, right? Oh, I quit, right? First of all, it's impossible to quit harmonica because honestly, honestly, you're barely getting started, right? Um, by the time you get started, you're already an expert, so then you can't quit. So, but if you end up in the wrong chamber, you're blowing in something, and you're like something's not going right. Try adjusting a little bit and just keep going. Okay, eventually you're gonna magically hit onto the right hole. Your ear will be like, "Yep, that's the one." Um, Uke Noob got in trouble for Yankee Doodle yesterday, so he's been banished to the bedroom. Good. I can't wait to meet your wife one of these days. She's got good taste in music. All right, blow 7. Let's do it one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. By the way, if you haven't tried it, play this outside on your back porch. That's a really lovely place to play harmonica. What happens, the whole neighborhood is hearing you, and the whole neighborhood is hearing you, but they're ignoring that they're listening to you play harmonica, and you're pretending you're not giving a concert. It's perfect. Okay. I sit out, our balcony is right underneath the roof, and people can go up on the roof. And so I'll sit out there at night and I wonder if I'm having to build up a concert up there or whether I'm running people off. All right, let's see what's next up on our greatest hits. Oh, Wildwood Flower. Okay, that's our big one of the week. This was the one probably that you had to go listen to a few times. Um, um, Jennifer sent me a note that Reese Witherspoon has a version of this on YouTube. I went and listened to it, and it's lovely. Dun, 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 dun. I will twine me the ringlets of my dun 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 dum da da dum da da dum dum da da dum da da dum. So this one again is not as familiar of a tune for me, and so I'm really relying on the sheet music a lot to help me guide me. And so we were talking earlier, hey, maybe we ought to do a little bit of work on reading the standard notation so that we can know a little bit more about what we're doing. In this case, well, I'm not supposed to give you lessons today, but the eighth notes there are very important. Faster, dee dee doo doo doon, and then twine has a quarter note, so that's much longer than the first two notes. And then notice an E is a blow 5, and a G is a blow 6, and a C is a blow 7, right? So you can look there and start to compare the note up above with the actual thing you're doing on the harmonica, and pretty soon you're going to get pretty good at reading it both ways. If harmonica is your main instrument, absolutely, you should for sure be working on reading the tablature, because then you'll be able to play. Should be working on reading the standard notation. That way, you'll be able to play all lyrics. Any song with lyrics and no accidentals, you can play on this probably. Probably from that Johnny Cash movie she made with Joaquin Phoenix. See, here's what I know about Reese Witherspoon. She's cute as a bug's ear, and she was in Legally Blonde. That is my complete knowledge of Reese Witherspoon. Oh wait, wasn't she in the movie where? Was that her in Election? I think it was, where the teacher ends up wanting to murder her. I think that might have been Reese Witherspoon, or maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. I can't remember movies in my head. Um, all right, let's play. Below 5 to get started. Remember, we start 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to go from 5. 1, 2, 3. Should have told you we were only going to do it twice. Let's see. Phew, a little bit exhausting, right? Let's see, Janice. Oh, Janice, what are you doing here? You're watching from Saturday is play music on your porch day. Ah, right. Today is play more. Tomorrow, Janice is in Australia, so she's a little bit ahead of us. So Saturdays play music on your porch day. You guys are set up. Are you supposed to do the 2 with your tongue on every note when you blow in and out, or just when you blow out? In the beginning, Christine, you want to do 2 on everything. You want to do 2 out and 2 in, and 2 out and 2 in. What I noticed when I teach this class as a community class here, people when they first start are very mushy. And so it sounds very mushy, and they're sort of getting it close, but it just doesn't really sound right. But if you go do 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 do, it just gives you the melody a lot cleaner and a lot prettier, and it actually teaches you the difference between an eighth note, a quarter note, a half note, right? So your main goal in the beginning is to play 2 on everything. Then once you get a song down, okay, I'm getting closer on this song. I may have to bring it back next week because I still haven't played it to my satisfaction. We will start to drop those in some places, right? If I feel like, this is going to sound better if I get a little bit of clarity into it, I start tossing in my 2s, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. Otherwise, you will end up, and then some places I won't do that. Okay, I would say, especially when you're learning a song, use your 2s. Make sure you put them in 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. And then afterwards, then you decide, okay, I know how to play this. Maybe I'm going to see if I can smooth it out, make the notes a little more connected. Wah, 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 da, wah, 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 da, wah, wah, da, wah. 2 wah wah, 2 wah wah, right? You might mix it up a little bit. The 2 is not a requirement of any song. It's a requirement of learning how to play with the correct length of notes. Then after that, once you're like, yep, I know what I'm doing, then you can decide about your 2s. Okay. I Walk the Line. That's the name of that show. All right, here we go. One more time. What time is it? We're fine? We're fine. And I don't remember who said it before, but somebody said, this is surprisingly fun to do. Okay. It's silly. Here we go. From the top, I'm going to count in 3, and we're going to go. 1, 2, 3. couple of weird notes in there, but for the most part, I'm getting the tune together, right? And it starts to feel like, yeah, I'm a rock star. I can go now. I can take my shoes off in Appalachia now, and I am all set. You got to own a banjo-lele, right? I think that's the other thing you got to know. All right, so there's Wildwood Flower. Those are your music. That's your diatonic songs for the week. We're just getting started. This is our first week. Hopefully, you're figuring out, hey, I can play this. I can play this. I'm making some sense. Again, always be focused in on the single notes. Once we get the single notes in, we will eventually talk about how to make chords. Always, when it's a C chord, you can blow into multiple holes, but in the beginning, you don't want to do that because what you're really trying to do is get the melody out. Once you get the melody out, then you can always add in the chords later. That's not a complicated process, but in the beginning, learning to get that single note out is super, super challenging. Next week, your sheet music's already posted. Every week we're going to go through the diatonic notes, When the Saints Go Marching In, and You Are My Sunshine, just as our daily warm-up, and that gives me a chance to talk to people who are new. So if you're having fun, you send a note in your email chain or your Facebook or whatever, and go tell people, hey, come join this goofy thing I'm doing on online, right? Playing harmonic, and people will be like, what? And you're like, yeah, no, it's fun, really, come do it. And so we'll do something every Monday. We'll kind of go over a little bit more detail like we did this last Monday in terms of how to get started. And then we'll be playing When the Saints Go Marching In, and You Are My Sunshine is the warm-up. And then next week you've got Amazing Grace. If I remember right, that's a pretty easy song to play. I can't remember for sure. I didn't play it prior to posting it. I think it's pretty straightforward. Daisy Bell, A Bicycle Built for Two, is a lovely little old-fashioned song. It's gonna challenge you. It starts on blow 9, if I remember right. And then Edelweiss, go watch Sound of Music this weekend if you've never heard Edelweiss. And it's your first modern song, right? Mostly we're gonna be playing songs from 1863, but when we find a decent modern song that can be played on a diatonic, we're going to do it. And then you also get Happy Birthday next week. So all harmonica players have to know how to play Happy Birthday. Okay, it is part of your legacy that every time somebody has a birthday, you're going to be blowing in your harmonica to serenade them. Okay. They'll remember it for the rest of their lives. It's not necessarily something that you're going to cause a scar, and that's okay. And then next week is Beautiful Dreamer. Most of you guys don't know that tune, and so go spend a little bit of time with the MP3 listening to that, especially if you get this in. Now, here's what's going to happen, guys. You're going to get where you know what you're doing, and you're going to be like, yeah, well, maybe I come to class, maybe I don't. That's okay. Okay, but you are going to, each week I am going to be posting new sheet music up there, and I'm going to try to keep it in the same format that we have it now. I like that format. And what you don't want to do is get in this notion that as long as I have the sheet music, I don't really need to go to class. No, you need to come to class and practice and play with me, because when you're at home, we have this tendency, we make a mistake, we stop, we back up, we play and do this sort of thing. So you want to be playing with other people as a musician, okay? And it doesn't matter what the instrument is. When you get together with other people, you're going to become a much better player than when you're playing at home on your own. I meet guitar players all of the time who bought a guitar in the 70s. They learned to play whatever their 3 favorite songs were from the 70s, and then they quit because they weren't showing up and playing with other people. And then 20, 30 years later, they're bringing me their guitar that's been under their bed for decades. It's covered in dust, and I'm like, where'd you get this guitar? Well, I bought it in the 70s to learn how to play fill in the blank of popular tune in the late 60s, early 70s, and then I didn't keep it up. And the only way you get to be a decent musician is to show up and play with other people. That's the showing up part. And then, of course, practicing a little bit at home. So be brave when you're at home. Tomorrow's Play on the Porch. Janice is getting out of bed here in a little bit. Get out of bed, Janice. And then she's going to go out and play harmonica on the porch, or ukulele on the porch, or whatever. She's going to do something out on her porch. And so you take your harmonica out there and knock out a few versions of don't play Yankee Doodle. People will fight you, but play the other 3, right? You got You Are My Sunshine, When the Saints Go Marching In, and Wildwood Flower. To go out and play those on your porch. That's the practice part, and then you show up here and play with me. Okay, I'm not the great. I'm a long way from being a great harmonica player, but I can at least keep us all moving forward. When you miss a note, you can't lose sleep over it. You have to go forward. And I would say, as newer musicians, that's one of the harder things we have to get rid of. Is I made a mistake. I don't care. That's one of the hardest things we have to do as musicians. Is I goofed that note up, whatever, and you have to move on. Because if you go back and fix it, now not only have you made the mistake, now you've made a second mistake by altering time, and now you've got probably a pretty high chance of blowing it again anyway, right? And so you just keep moving on as if it never happened. If I can talk you into believing there are no mistakes in music, then I will have been successful doing my job. A mistake that I make is I didn't shave. I noticed just now. I thought I was all done. You spend about an hour and a half in the bathroom, and then you walk out and you're like, surely I'm done with everything. It's probably 5 minutes, but whatever. And then this is a shirt that my wife got for me. I didn't buy this shirt. I like this band back in the day. I'm just having you tell us what measure you are on at the song when we are starting over. When I lose my place, kind of hard to do when you are playing harmonica. You can't talk. Yeah. Yes, if I had when we're playing with ukulele or guitar, I can tell you, hey, we're on measure 7, right? Because we blow those repeats all of the time. That's another musical skill. Make sure you're marking your repeats so that you blow them less, right? What our bass player in our orchestra, Dave, was a brand new player, and he plays in our orchestra because his wife plays, not because he was driven with passion to come play ukulele. But for the first couple of years, he missed repeats all of the time. I'm up there conducting, and all of a sudden I realize he's finished the song and he's looking at me, and I'm like, you missed your repeats again, right? So they're very easy to miss, and you can miss them for years. So start marking them, right? Use your yellow highlighter and put a note on there that, hey, I'm gonna do this. Okay, let's wrap it up for today. We're gonna play through what's it called? Ash Grove. Remember that here's your repeats, okay? And if you don't have your chromatic yet, that's perfectly fine. Follow along, okay? We should be, because you want to get where the song makes sense in your head. We play all the way down through measure, what is it? Measure 17. No, I'm sorry, measure, what do we play down through? I have a different version. Let me pull up the regular version. How come that's different than the one that I gave to you guys? I must have cleaned it up. Oh, no, I'm right. That's true. That's true. Okay, I see what I'm doing. So you play down through measure 8, right? Down through 8, go back to the beginning. I'm thinking of a different song. You go play down through 8, go back to the beginning. Play down through 7, and then, no, skip 8 and play from 9 through 17. And then go back and play 1 through 7 again. And then at the end of 7, you jump and play 18, 19, and 20. So I did put on your sheet music up there. Repeats are 0 through 8, 1 through 7, 9 through 17, 1 through 17, 18 to the end. If that's confusing, it's only there for the first time. Now go through and with your pencil above number 8, write to number 1, right? And above number 17, you write to number 1. And then that helps you as your eyeballs are coming down. And yeah, I wish I could coach you on which measure we're on, but I have a harmonica in my face when we're doing this. Jane, I'm interested in learning standard notation. I want to be able to know whenever I see any written music. Okay, so I'll put a little bit of energy into that. We may start it next week, or we may start it the week after, but I'll put a little bit of energy into how we know how you can start playing standard notation. And we'll do it entirely on diatonic harmonica, and then those of you who are interested in chromatic are going to have to then make the bridge that the blowhole 3 on a diatonic is different than the blowhole on this, right? And so is this chromatic only music? Yeah. So when you Ash Grove will be chromatic, okay? And again, they don't bridge the gap. One is the diatonic music is for diatonic only. Chromatic music is for chromatic only. It is theoretically possible that with a chromatic harmonica, you could play the diatonic music, but you can't use the tablature. You'll have to use the standard notation. So we'll teach you standard notation a little bit at a time, little drops for baby birds, right? On how to read standard notation for a diatonic harmonica. Once you get it, and then you decide, yeah, I'm actually a chromatic harmonica player, then you'll have to you'll make your adjustments. Okay, Ash Grove is our big final. With any luck, we'll play it well. Okay, if you don't have your chromatic yet, read my hilarious and very compelling lyrics that I added into this song. Okay, from the beginning, I'm going to count in 2, and we're going to go 1, 2. I blew the ending again. Yeah, well, close enough, right? Close enough. For some reason, I got a little off on measure 5, and then I just could not find my notes to finish up. But we got the last note right, so that's what the audience is. Well, last note's waiting for that. The audience is waiting for the blow 9, and then they're going to give me a huge applause, no matter how well I did. Let's see, Francine. Hi, don't have anything. I'm a jig. Don't have my thingamajig harmonica yet, so coming to you on the piano. Oh, so Frances and I just played a duet. Okay, she probably played it better than I did. And talk to your piano players if you want to play. If you got a piano player in your life, and they don't have to be any good, right? You're going to play the melody. All they got to do is C chord, D minor chord, G7 chord, C chord, and I assure you, 100% of piano players who've been playing for 3 months or more, they know their chords in C major. It's just one of those things we teach piano players right off the bat, especially adult learners. Here's a C chord, here's a D chord, here's a D minor chord, here's an E minor chord. So we teach them all of those. And so a piano player can easily accompany you on this, okay? On all of the sheet music I give to you, because it'll almost all be in C major, and it'll all, some of the chromatic stuff will be in a little bit different key, but for the most part, it's going to be in C as well. There, we made it through our first week of harmonica class. Don't not show up on Monday, because then I'll be worried that somebody murdered you from playing harmonica. So we did it, right? You're almost a professional. Next week, we'll finish up talking. We'll talk a little bit about chords next week, and we've got plenty of songs to keep us busy all week. And then on the harmonica page, not the harmonica class page, but on the harmonica page, there's 800 songs that I wrote on there that are possibly doable in diatonic. And so if there's one that you want me to work on sooner rather than later, so toss me an email. If you're just happy with whatever songs I toss out, that's perfectly fine. Don't need to talk on that. But if there's one you're like, man, I have a birthday or I have an anniversary or something coming up and I have to be able to play this one song, toss me a note and let me look at it and I'll see if we can toss it together next. Have a wonderful weekend, you guys. Be safe, do good, practice, show up. And I added, what was my other one I added? I added something else. Oh, subscribe. Subscribe and become a member of, well, you guys don't have membership options yet, so don't become a member yet. I'll talk to you guys on Monday. Have a great weekend. Hopefully we're supposed to get a little bit more rational weather here this weekend, so hopefully you do too. And Kat can't help but get better weather than she's been having the last couple of days. So I'll see you guys on Monday. Kat, have a great weekend. Melissa, yay! I love a yay, right? That means we did pretty well. Evelyn, that was fun. See you next week. Jane, enjoying the class. Good, Jane. I hope hopefully you're learning something too. Sandy, good to see you. Susan, it is fun, right? It's silly. It's kind of fun. Pauline, that was fun. Chromatics are on the way. Deb, mahalo to you. And Francine, fun. Thank you. Off you go. Have a great night. Gonna end the stream. Maybe. There it goes.